Hey radiant spirits, it demanded an entire decade of my life to truly internalize these profound insights, but I'm committed to imparting them to you in just 30 minutes. Existence doesn't pause for a single soul. The sun ascends without fail, the earth continues its relentless rotation. And regardless of whether you're fully prepared or still gathering your strength, the relentless current of time surges onward, much like a mighty river that knows no barriers or interruptions. Every single morning when you first open your eyes, it's a powerful signal that you're still actively participating in this grand journey called life. Yet, it's simultaneously a stark cautionary note. If you hesitate to rise from your bed and take decisive action, the unstoppable momentum of existence will simply surge past you, leaving you in its wake. Pause and reflect deeply on this. Individuals we once shared close bonds with have ventured off on their own unique paths, forging ahead without us. Careers and positions we naively assumed would endure eternally have evaporated into thin air, replaced by new realities. Those cherished moments we convinced ourselves were etched in stone have faded into distant echoes, mere shadows in our memories. The vast world around us refuses to grind to a halt simply because you're feeling drained or overwhelmed. It doesn't ease its pace when your heart is shattered by loss or disappointment. And it most certainly doesn't come to a standstill when laziness creeps in and holds you captive. This is precisely why mornings hold such immense significance in the tapestry of our lives. Each new dawn presents a fresh, invaluable opportunity to consciously choose the version of yourself you'll embody that day. Will you fall into the trap of repeating the same errors that plagued you yesterday, or will you summon the inner fortitude to emerge even more resilient, fueled by unyielding determination? The unvarnished truth can feel brutally harsh, but it carries a liberating power all its own. In the grand scheme, no one else truly invests in your struggles as deeply as you might hope. People are overwhelmingly preoccupied with navigating their own personal storms and challenges, leaving little bandwidth to shoulder the weight of yours. And far from being a source of despair, this realization should ignite a fire within you to stand taller and more independently. Because if no external hero is galloping in to rescue you, then the full authority and capability to orchestrate meaningful change rests squarely in your own hands. That's the exquisite magic woven into every morning. They serve as gentle yet insistent reminders that your life story is still very much an open book, one that you alone can author and shape according to your vision. For countless individuals, the first whispers of the day come from the insidious voice of regret, echoing upon awakening. Regret over precious time squandered in pursuits that led nowhere, over dreams that were allowed to fracture and crumble, over golden opportunities that slipped through grasping fingers. But regret, in its raw form, is utterly futile unless you alchemize it into a potent fuel that propels you forward. Refrain from perceiving your past as an inescapable prison that confines your potential. Instead, embrace it as a wise and compassionate teacher, offering invaluable guidance. Every misstep you've taken has etched a lasting lesson into the fabric of your memory, sharpening your awareness. And every stumble or outright failure serves as a forceful nudge, steering you toward greater wisdom and discernment. The morning ritual becomes your daily sacred window to harness those hard-won lessons and boldly proclaim, "I refuse to replicate the patterns that once shattered my spirit. Instead, I will forge something far more robust and enduring." But heed this solemn warning with the gravity it deserves. If you fail to summon the courage to rise and actively construct the dream life you've envisioned, someone else, perhaps a visionary entrepreneur or ambitious leader, will inevitably recruit you to labor tirelessly in service of their own grand designs. That's an unyielding law embedded in the very nature of life itself. If you allow yourself to drift aimlessly through days, if you remain scattered and unfocused in your efforts, if you perpetually postpone action in pursuit of that elusive, perfect moment, know that such a moment will never materialize on its own. You'll find yourself devoting the prime years of your existence to advancing someone else's bold vision, all while your own aspirations gradually wither away into obscurity. Each morning bestows upon you a pivotal choice. Will you step up as the master architect of your own destiny, designing a future that aligns with your deepest desires? Or will you resign yourself to the role of a mere laborer, toiling away in the blueprint of another person's empire? And throughout this transformative journey, embrace silence as your most trusted ally and confidant. Commit to working in profound quietude, vigilantly protecting the sanctity of your dreams from premature exposure, and savoring your personal victories in the intimacy of privacy. Human nature being what it is, people have a tendency to undermine or dismantle things, not always driven by malicious intent, but often through subtle infusions of doubt, simmering envy, or unchecked negativity that seeps into interactions. When you unveil your ambitions too hastily or too broadly, you inadvertently subject your fragile dream to the turbulent storms brewed by other people's unsolicited opinions and judgments. The ancient Stoics, in their timeless wisdom, counseled us to cultivate a profound indifference to the fleeting thoughts and criticisms of others, and this principle retains its relevance and potency in our modern world. Dedicate yourself to building in quiet seclusion. Fiercely safeguard your inner energy and focus from draining influences. Allow the undeniable proof of your success to emerge and speak volumes when the timing is impeccably right. Finally, etch this crucial reminder into your consciousness: not all pieces of advice carry equal merit or value. Our world overflows with a cacophony of voices, each eager to dictate your choices, what actions to take, how to conduct your life, and which directions to pursue. But if the individual dispensing this guidance doesn't embody the kind of life that you genuinely admire and aspire to emulate, why grant their words any authority over your path? Exercise discernment in selecting your mentors and influences. Tune out the distracting noise that bombards you from all sides. Align yourself only with those whose tangible actions and achievements mirror the precise results you yearn to manifest in your own journey. This foundational mindset forms the bedrock of the video you are on the verge of experiencing. These aren't superficial platitudes or empty rhetoric, they are robust principles capable of rewiring your entire approach to facing your mornings, tackling your inevitable struggles, and envisioning your future with clarity. It required years upon years of rigorous trial and error, profound pain that tested my limits, and deep, introspective reflection for me to fully grasp and integrate them. My earnest goal is to spare you that arduous timeline, accelerating your growth. Today, let's embark on this exploration of these eternal truths side by side. And by the time we reach the conclusion, you'll be fully equipped to greet every morning with an unshakable sense of clarity and purpose. Join me in vocalizing this now, with conviction. I will rise stronger every single morning. Number 1, existence waits for nobody in its ceaseless march. Existence embodies no patience whatsoever. It never pauses in deference to your needs. It doesn't linger idly while you catch up. And it most assuredly doesn't extend second invitations or opportunities that you've let pass. One of the most pervasive illusions that ensnares so many of us is the comforting but false belief that we have an abundance of time at our disposal. "I'll tackle it tomorrow," we casually declare. We postpone with phrases like "next week," "next year," or the vague "someday." But someday is a treacherous word, laden with deception, because in practice, it almost invariably translates to never. If you harbor a burning dream, a concrete goal, or a necessary transformation that your intuition screams you must pursue, understand that existence won't graciously hold its breath until you feel completely comfortable, thoroughly prepared, or utterly fearless. It forges ahead with impartial momentum, with or without your active involvement. The instant you open your eyes each morning, you're stepping into a world that's already buzzing with activity and change. Somewhere out there, another individual is diligently advancing the very idea you've been procrastinating on. Someone else is pushing their limits in training while you idly scroll through your phone, dissipating precious focus. Yet another is methodically constructing the exact life you've only dared to daydream about in fleeting moments. The intricate web of the world isn't going to decelerate to accommodate your moments of hesitation or doubt. The revered Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius captured this essence in his writings: "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good." His poignant reminder underscores that time stands as our most finite and irreplaceable resource. You hold no claim over tomorrow's dawn. You don't even possess dominion over the next fleeting hour. All you truly have is this singular moment, this breath you're drawing right now, this very morning unfolding before you. And the choices you make within it hold more weight than any other factor in shaping your trajectory. Take a moment to contemplate the sheer number of opportunities you've already forfeited to the thief of procrastination. Recall those days when you confidently proclaimed, "I'll start next week," only to discover yourself mired in the same stagnant position months or even years later. That's the inevitable consequence of deluding yourself that existence will patiently wait on your timeline. It simply won't. And the most excruciating form of pain isn't the sting of failure itself, it's the hollow ache of looking back over your shoulder and realizing you never even mustered the courage to try. The world persists in its forward motion, utterly indifferent to your participation or lack thereof. Nature pays no heed to your elaborate excuses or justifications. The cycles of seasons transition seamlessly. The sun rises and sets with unerring precision. Lives begin, lives end, and the river of time flows inexorably onward. You have two fundamental options: harmonize with this flow by committing to daily action, or resist it stubbornly and find yourself dragged along against your will. But either path you choose, existence advances without apology. So, what does this profound truth imply for the structure of your mornings? It means that the manner in which you initiate your day profoundly influences the entirety of what unfolds thereafter. If you commence with clear purpose and intention, you align yourself seamlessly with the natural rhythm of life. Conversely, if you begin shrouded in laziness, plagued by distractions, or paralyzed by hesitation, you inevitably fall behind the curve. Morning transcends being merely a chronological segment of the day. It transforms into a metaphorical battlefield where you wage war to decide if you'll be an engaged participant in life's grand spectacle or a passive bystander watching from the sidelines. Pose this introspective question to yourself: what if today represented your absolute last chance to make tangible progress toward your goals? Would you allow it to slip away wasted? What if this very day was the one your future self is desperately pleading with you not to sabotage? Would you still succumb to the temptation of hitting the snooze button repeatedly? Every individual you've ever admired for their remarkable success shares a common thread weaving through their stories. They internalized the preciousness of time and vehemently refused to wait for life to slacken its pace. They operated with a sense of burning urgency. They took bold action. They built empires from ideas. They encountered failures but rose phoenix-like from the ashes. The true differentiator separating them from the masses isn't innate talent or luck, it's their unwavering urgency. So, what practical steps should you take to embody this? Begin with one straightforward, unbreakable commitment. Vow never to let a single morning go to waste in idleness. The moment you awaken, shift from mere existence to deliberate decision-making. Decide precisely how you'll move your body, what actions you'll prioritize, and how you'll advance your objectives. Remember, even the smallest steps accumulate into monumental change: a single page written, a workout session completed, a strategic plan outlined. Existence generously rewards those who demonstrate profound respect for the gift of time. The most empowering affirmation you can integrate into your daily mindset is this: I will not wait passively for life to unfold. I will rise in tandem with it. By living through this lens, you'll eradicate the fear of being left behind, because you'll be propelling yourself forward with consistency every single day. Therefore, I extend this challenge to you. Tomorrow morning, as soon as consciousness returns, resist the pull of your phone. Don't dive into mindless scrolling. Don't delay the inevitable. Instead, sit up straight, draw in a deep breath, and reaffirm to yourself, existence waits for nobody. Today, I choose to move. Comment this declaration right now to anchor it firmly in your heart. I will not wait for life. I will rise with it. Number 2, always prioritize taking care of yourself above all else. Allow me to share a fundamental truth that far too many people overlook or dismiss until circumstances force it upon them in crisis. If something unfortunate happens to you, be it illness, injury, or burnout, the world will continue its orbit without missing a beat. It's a severe realization, isn't it? But it's the unfiltered reality we all inhabit. Your job role will be swiftly filled by a replacement eager to step in. Your various responsibilities and obligations will be redistributed among others. And even those who hold you dearest in their hearts will, over time, adapt and adjust to a new normal in your absence. Existence doesn't come to a grinding halt when you stumble or fall, it simply presses onward with its inexorable progress. This is exactly why making self-care your foremost priority is non-negotiable. You cannot effectively give to others or the world if you're operating from a place of depletion. It's impossible to pour from an empty vessel. You won't be able to construct your dream life, provide meaningful support to your family, or unlock your full potential if your physical body and mental faculties are compromised or broken. Yet, astonishingly, so many of us conduct our lives as if we're invincible superheroes, routinely skimping on essential sleep, neglecting our health through poor choices, and disregarding the need for mental tranquility amid chaos. We mistakenly equate true sacrifice with self-destruction in the name of helping others, but that's a profound misunderstanding. It's not noble sacrifice, it's a slow, insidious form of self-sabotage that erodes your foundation over time. The Stoics, with their pragmatic philosophy, grasped this concept deeply. Epictetus emphasized the importance of guarding your mind and body as if they were an impregnable fortress. If that fortress crumbles under assault, everything housed within it, your aspirations, your loved one's well-being, becomes vulnerable to ruin. In parallel, if you allow yourself to collapse from neglect, your dreams shatter, your goals evaporate, and those who rely on you suffer collateral damage. Therefore, your very first responsibility upon greeting each new morning is to invest in your own preservation and vitality. Ask yourself this probing question: what is the ultimate point of laboring endlessly to accumulate wealth if you're too ill or exhausted to savor its fruits? What value lies in relentlessly chasing your dreams if your body gives out long before you can cross the finish line? Authentic discipline extends beyond mere hard work, it encompasses intelligent, sustainable work. And that intelligence invariably begins with a solid commitment to self-care. So, what does this principle look like when applied in everyday practice? It involves treating your body with the reverence it deserves, recognizing it as the indispensable vehicle that carries you toward your destiny. Nourish it with wholesome, nutrient-rich foods that energize rather than toxic substances that drain. Bolster its strength through regular movement and exercise, not through sedentary neglect that weakens it. Restore its reserves with adequate, quality sleep, not with late-night endless scrolling that robs you of rest. And cultivate your mind's sharpness through moments of intentional silence and reflection, not by bombarding it with constant noise and stimulation. These seemingly modest habits, when stacked together, form the unassailable foundation upon which true greatness is built. Conceptualize your morning as the critical launchpad for the entire day ahead. If you kick it off in disarray, rushing frantically, skipping nourishing meals, drowning in accumulated stress, you're essentially programming the day for continued chaos and inefficiency. But if you initiate with deliberate order, starting with hydration to replenish, gentle movement to awaken the body, and calm reflection to center the mind, you step into the world fully armored and prepared for whatever comes. A common misconception leads many to sideline self-care, viewing it as an indulgent or selfish pursuit. But let's dismantle that fallacy right here. In truth, neglecting your own well-being is the epitome of selfishness. Why? Because when you inevitably break down from sustained disregard, the ripple effects harm everyone who depends on you, your family bears the emotional brunt, your friends lose your support, and your greater mission grinds to a halt. Prioritizing self-care isn't an act of ego, it's the most profoundly responsible commitment you can make to yourself and those around you. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. This wisdom highlights that safeguarding your mental landscape is every bit as crucial as protecting your physical form. Each morning, conduct a brief audit of your thoughts. Are you inadvertently flooding your mind with negativity before the day has even properly begun? Or are you intentionally infusing it with purpose, gratitude, and crystal clear intention. Picture this scenario for clarity. Two people awaken at the identical hour. One lazily rolls over, grabs their phone, and immerses themselves in social media feeds that breed envy, comparison, and mental clutter. The other, in contrast, starts with a glass of water for hydration, follows with light stretches to invigorate the body, takes deep breaths for centering, and sets a focused intention for the day ahead. Who do you believe will navigate life's inevitable challenges with greater poise and effectiveness? Who will remain steadfast and grounded when the inevitable storms of the day arise? That's the transformative power inherent in morning self-care routines. It equips you with an invisible shield long before the battles commence. So, make this your solemn pledge moving forward. Stop postponing self-care until a major crisis, be it burnout, serious illness, or emotional heartbreak, forces your hand and reminds you of your inherent fragility. Instead, proactively build protective habits today that will fortify you for the long haul, sustaining you through years to come. Every single morning, pose this empowering question to yourself: what specific action can I take today to strengthen my body, mind, or spirit? And then, without hesitation, follow through on it. Because here's the unyielding truth at the core: existence waits for nobody. But by diligently taking care of yourself, you position yourself to flow harmoniously with its rhythm rather than struggling against it. You gain the capacity to keep pace with life's flow instead of being overwhelmed and crushed beneath its weight. Join me in declaring this aloud, and drop it in the comments to solidify your commitment. I will take care of myself first because my dream absolutely depends on it. Number 3, release regret, absorb the lessons and propel yourself forward. Regret stands as one of the most burdensome chains that a person can voluntarily shackle themselves with. It trails behind you like a heavy anchor, impeding every forward step you attempt, while incessantly whispering in your ear that you should have performed better, that you've irretrievably wasted irreplaceable time, that it's already far too late to course correct. But here's the liberating truth that can set you free from its grip. Regret, in isolation, is completely useless and counterproductive unless you consciously transform it into a high-octane fuel that drives your future actions. How many mornings have you greeted with the weight of past mistakes pressing down on you? Mulling over the job opportunity you timidly declined, the relationship you mishandled and allowed to disintegrate, the myriad chances that you let evaporate without pursuit. That's the insidious trap laid by regret. It deceives you into believing that the past remains vibrantly alive and editable, when in stark reality, it's sealed and immutable. You cannot travel back in time. You cannot rewrite the chapters already written. Your sole power lies in extracting wisdom from those experiences to inform your present and future. The Stoics articulated this with remarkable clarity and precision. Epictetus observed, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Regret exemplifies this perfectly. It's a form of self-inflicted suffering born entirely in the realm of imagination, fabricating fresh pain from events that no longer exist in the tangible world. The past is a book that's been firmly closed and archived. The only lingering influence it wields is through the specific lessons you choose to mine and apply from its pages. Shift your inquiry from the victimized, "Why did this happen to me?" to the empowered, "What did this experience teach me?" That simple pivot alters everything in profound ways. Suddenly, every failure morphs into a valuable lesson. Every heartbreak evolves into hard-earned wisdom. Every year that felt wasted becomes a stern but effective teacher, compelling you to vow not to squander the ones that follow. But beware this additional danger lurking within regret. It doesn't merely weigh you down like dead weight, it also blinds you to the richness of the present moment. You become so hyper-focused on what you've lost or left behind that you fail to notice the abundance and opportunities unfolding right in front of you. Imagine attempting to drive a car while your gaze is locked exclusively on the rearview mirror. You're destined for a catastrophic crash. That's precisely what unchecked regret does to your life. It fixates your attention on what's receding in the distance while your potential future whizzes by, unnoticed and unclaimed. So, how do you break free from its clutches? First and foremost, cultivate acceptance. acknowledge that you cannot alter what's already transpired. Extend forgiveness to yourself for being imperfectly human, as no one navigates life without errors or misjudgments. Perfection in choices is an illusion, everyone stumbles. What truly matters is whether you doom yourself to repeating those mistakes or elevate yourself by learning and transcending them. Second, channel that energy into immediate action today. The most potent antidote to the poison of regret is tangible progress. If you lament years lost to inactivity and poor health, begin moving your body right now, in this moment. If you rue not launching your business venture sooner, take that initial small but courageous step without further delay. Regret's hold weakens dramatically when you demonstrate to yourself, through deeds, that your future can indeed outshine your past. And third, anchor yourself in this empowering reminder: you are no longer the same individual who committed those past errors. Each new sunrise rebirths you, offering a clean slate. The very fact that you feel regret signals significant personal growth and evolution. Refrain from punishing your current, wiser self for the follies of your former incarnation. Instead, honor that growth by advancing with the wisdom you've accrued. Marcus Aurelius encapsulated this beautifully: what stands in the way becomes the way. Your regrets and failures aren't insurmountable blocks obstructing your path, they are integral components of the path itself. Harness them purposefully. Allow them to sculpt you into an individual who's truly unshakable in the face of adversity. Tomorrow morning, when the tendrils of regret attempt to drag you back into the shadows of yesterday, counter them with decisive action. Respond firmly: thank you for the invaluable lesson, but I am resolutely walking forward from here. Commit this affirmation to memory and jot it down somewhere visible. I am not defined by my past. I learn from it, I grow through it, I move forward beyond it. Number 4, actively build your own dream, or you'll end up building someone else's. Every morning, as you stir from sleep and open your eyes to the new day, you're confronted with a fundamental choice that shapes your existence. Will you dedicate your energy to constructing and nurturing your personal dream, or will you inadvertently spend the hours building and bolstering someone else's vision? This ranks among the most difficult truths to confront and accept head-on. Because the sad reality is that the majority of people traverse their entire lives laboring in service of another individual's ambitious vision, all while their own dreams lie dormant and unfulfilled, buried deep within their souls. Take a moment to observe the world around you with fresh eyes. The company where you clock in each day, the physical building that houses your work, the innovative app you rely on for daily tasks, even the comforting cup of coffee you sip, these were all once mere sparks in someone's imaginative dream. The only reason they exist in tangible form today is because those dreamers chose to act rather than defer. They refused to let their mornings dissolve into waste. They heeded their inner calling without apology. They moved with deliberate urgency while innumerable others remained complacent in slumber. And here's the unsparing reality you must internalize: if you awaken without a clear sense of purpose guiding your actions, someone else, perhaps more driven or visionary, will eagerly impose their purpose upon you. If you shy away from pursuing your unique vision, you'll find yourself perpetually chasing deadlines, meeting targets, and fulfilling objectives set by those who didn't hesitate to chase theirs. This isn't to say that working in employment for others is inherently negative or without value. At times, it's a necessary phase for financial stability. Sometimes, it instills essential discipline and skills. Occasionally, it provides a safety net during uncertain periods. But if you allow it to become your permanent state, if you completely abandon your dream to exclusively serve the dreams of others, then you've effectively lost touch with your authentic self. The Stoics held a firm belief that every individual bears a sacred duty to live in accordance with their inherent nature. This means channeling your unique gifts, honed skills, and boundless energy into pursuits that hold deep personal meaning. Marcus Aurelius reflected in his writings, "A man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions." Pause and introspect. What are your true ambitions? Are they genuinely yours, born from your passions, or are they hand-me-downs from societal expectations and norms? Building your dream doesn't necessitate a dramatic, all-or-nothing leap like quitting your job impulsively tomorrow. It doesn't require recklessly discarding the stability you've built. Rather, it involves intentionally carving out dedicated time each day to invest in what ignites a genuine spark within your soul. Perhaps that's writing a chapter of your book before the workday begins. Maybe it's launching a modest side business during evenings. Or learning a new skill through consistent after-hours practice. The essence isn't the speed of your progress, it's the consistency of your movement forward. Because with every morning you delay or defer, your dream accumulates layers of dust and neglect, while someone else's dream gains momentum and strength. Reimagine mornings as pockets of stolen, sacred time. In those quiet hours before the world's demands flood in, you possess a precious window to sow the seeds of your future harvest. Most people squander this golden interval on trivial distractions like social media or aimless browsing. But true builders, the relentless chasers of dreams, leverage it to create, innovate, and advance. That's the underlying power of structured morning routines. They empower you to place your dream at the forefront, before the cacophony of external obligations engulfs your attention. And let's be crystal clear about one thing: embarking on the path to build your dream is far from easy. You'll inevitably confront waves of self-doubt, paralyzing fear, bone-deep exhaustion, and repeated failures that test your resolve. But do you know what's infinitely harder to endure? Devoting 4 decades or more to constructing someone else's empire, only to reach the twilight of your life and realize you never even attempted to build your own. That's a soul-searing pain that no one should bear. Therefore, make it a habit to ask yourself every morning, whose dream am I contributing to building today? And if the honest answer isn't predominantly your own, then identify a way, no matter how small or incremental, to invest in yourself. It could be an hour of focused work. It might be just 20 minutes of planning. Perhaps it's writing a single page or taking one modest step forward. But commit to it, because no one else will do it for you. Affirm this empowering truth right here and now. I choose to build my dream, one intentional morning at a time. Number 5. Commit to working in silence and celebrating your wins in private. In a modern world that lavishly rewards noise, spectacle, and constant self-promotion, silence emerges as a formidable source of power and protection. Look around, and you'll see it everywhere: people broadcasting their plans, goals, and dreams to the masses before they've even laid the first brick. They declare their intentions publicly long before taking that crucial initial step. But herein lies the inherent danger. When you reveal too much of your inner world too soon, you open the floodgates to doubt, envy, and potential sabotage from external forces. That's why one of the most transformative lessons I've internalized is deceptively simple yet profoundly effective: work diligently in silence. And when victories come, celebrate them in the quiet intimacy of privacy. By keeping your dreams shrouded in quietude, you actively protect them from premature harm. Envision them as delicate seeds freshly planted in fertile soil. If you continually dig them up to display to others for validation, they never have the chance to establish deep, nourishing roots. But if you tend to them quietly, with patience and in private seclusion, they flourish into something robust, resilient, and unshakable. The unfortunate truth is that not everyone in your circle genuinely wants you to succeed and thrive. Sometimes, even those closest to you, friends or family, harbor subtle envy in their hearts. This isn't always rooted in outright malice, but rather in the discomfort your progress stirs, as it highlights their own areas of stagnation or unfulfilled potential. If you habitually announce every move, every milestone, you grant them ample opportunity to sow seeds of doubt in your fertile ground. They'll pose questions like, "Are you absolutely sure you can pull that off? It sounds incredibly risky. What if you fail spectacularly?" And those seemingly innocuous seeds of doubt can germinate rapidly, eroding your confidence before you've even gained momentum. The Stoics issued stern warnings against the pitfalls of living solely for the approval or opinions of others. Epictetus taught that the more you crave external validation, the less true freedom you possess in your life. Silence, in contrast, liberates you entirely. It permits you to channel your energy into genuine progress rather than performative applause-seeking. Reflect on some of history's most iconic successes. They didn't feel compelled to broadcast their intricate plans to the world each morning. Instead, they built methodically and quietly, one step at a time, until the sheer magnitude of their work rendered words superfluous. True greatness requires no heralding trumpet, it announces itself boldly through irrefutable results. Celebrating your achievements in private holds equal importance to silent work. Why? Because flaunting your wins publicly often attracts waves of envy and negativity that can taint your joy. At times, it draws opportunistic predators eager to exploit your newfound success. Other times, the influx of praise can deceive your brain into believing the journey is complete, sapping your ongoing momentum. But when you savor victories quietly, you preserve your inner hunger and drive. You continue building undeterred. You safeguard your precious energy from dilution. This approach doesn't advocate for never sharing anything at all, it simply calls for intentionality in your disclosures. Share only when your foundation is solid and unassailable. When your results stand as undeniable proof. When no amount of external doubt could possibly sway you. Until that point arrives, guard your dreams with the vigilance reserved for priceless treasure. So, how can you put this into practice starting today? The next time you feel the impulsive urge to announce your plans or progress, pause deliberately. Ask yourself this discerning question: does sharing this truly serve my growth and journey, or is it merely feeding my ego? If it's the latter, choose silence wisely. Allow your steady progress to speak volumes when the moment is ripe. Tomorrow morning, as you sit quietly with your thoughts, reinforce this mantra: my silence serves as my impenetrable shield. My dedicated work becomes my resonant voice. And in due time, your tangible results will proclaim your story far louder than any announcement could. Affirm this truth in the comments below. I will protect my dreams in silence and let my results generate all the noise. Number 6. Selectively listen only to the right voices that resonate with your path. The world we navigate is overwhelmingly loud, a constant barrage of input from every direction. Everyone seems to have advice ready to dispense: family members with their traditional wisdom, friends with their anecdotal experiences, co-workers with their professional insights, even complete strangers on the internet chiming in with unsolicited opinions. They all clamor to instruct you on how to live your life, what decisions to make, and which paths to tread. But here's a life-altering truth that revolutionized my own perspective: if the person offering you advice isn't actively living the kind of life that you deeply admire and wish to emulate, why on earth would you grant their words any sway over your choices? Far too often, we assign disproportionate weight to opinions that hold little to no merit. You confide your dream to a friend, and they respond with dismissive laughter. You outline your ambitious plan to a coworker, and they flatly declare it unfeasible. You bare your soul to family, and they project their own ingrained fears and limitations onto your canvas. Gradually, almost imperceptibly, you begin shrinking your expansive dream to fit within the confines of their narrow, constrained vision. The Stoics astutely warned against falling into this very trap. Marcus Aurelius penned, "The opinion of 10,000 men is of no value if none of them know anything about the subject." His message is straightforward and timeless: not every voice deserves your attention or credence. Wisdom isn't determined by how loudly or confidently someone speaks, nor by the emotional fervor behind their words. Just because an opinion is delivered with volume or passion doesn't automatically render it correct or applicable to you. Frame it this way for clarity: would you seek financial guidance from someone buried under mountains of debt? Would you follow health advice from an individual who blatantly disrespects their own body through harmful habits? Would you heed relationship counsel from someone entangled in perpetual toxicity? Then why do we so readily permit similar mismatched voices to influence and shape our life's trajectory? The stark truth demands that you rigorously filter your inner circle. Not every person warrants unrestricted access to your mind and decision-making process. Intentionally surround yourself with individuals who are living embodiments of the results you aspire to achieve. If your goal is to cultivate unbreakable discipline, tune into those who exemplify it through their daily actions. If you're aiming for business success, absorb knowledge from proven builders who've navigated the trenches. If inner peace is what you seek, follow those who radiate it effortlessly from within. Equally critical to amplifying the right voices is the act of muting or silencing the wrong ones that drain or mislead you. This might involve setting firm boundaries with certain people. In some cases, it could mean walking away from relationships entirely. This doesn't equate to ceasing to love or care for them, it simply means refusing to let them dictate or control your choices any longer. And here's the pivotal key that unlocks true autonomy: the loudest, most influential voice in your life should always be your own inner wisdom. Every morning, carve out a moment to ask yourself, what do I truly want in this situation? What path feels authentically right for me? Listen attentively to that inner guidance. Cultivate trust in your own judgment. Because ultimately, you are the one who must live with the consequences of your decisions, not them. So, when you awaken tomorrow and the overwhelming noise of the world threatens to drown out your clarity, remember that the vast majority of it is irrelevant static. Choose with intention whose words you allow to penetrate your mind. Affirm this truth alongside me. I will only listen to the voices that guide me toward the life I truly want. Number 7. Existence rewards unwavering consistency far more than it does any excuses. If there's one enduring lesson that mornings have imprinted upon me through repetition, it's this unyielding principle: existence remains utterly indifferent to your excuses, no matter how eloquently crafted. It only responds to consistent, genuine effort. You can spin elaborate tales explaining why you didn't rise early, why you skipped that crucial workout, why you deferred chasing your dream yet again, but excuses, however convincing, build absolutely nothing of value. Consistency, on the other hand, constructs empires. Ponder this deeply. A solitary workout session won't miraculously transform your physique, but a disciplined routine adhered to daily will yield profound changes. Penning a single page doesn't birth a complete book, but committing to one page every day without fail will eventually produce a manuscript. Saving a modest sum sporadically won't lead to wealth, but habitual saving compounded over time builds lasting fortune. Success rarely manifests through one monumental leap, it's forged through countless small steps taken with relentless consistency. The Stoics embodied this ethos of discipline in their daily lives. Seneca wisely noted, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Every morning squandered in inaction accumulates like compound interest in reverse. Every excuse you indulge multiplies, eroding your potential, but so too does every disciplined action amplify your growth. The seemingly insignificant choices you make daily, those tiny habits, ultimately shape the grand arc of your entire life story. Consistency wields immense power because it operates through silent, patient compounding. You might not witness dramatic results immediately, and that's precisely where most people falter and abandon ship. They crave instant gratification and quit prematurely. But the essence of mornings isn't about overnight transformations, it's about diligently planting seeds of progress. Day after day, nurture those seeds with action, and in due season, the abundant harvest will arrive. Excuses, by contrast, dismantle your potential in stealthy, insidious ways. They appear harmless and justifiable in the moment. "I'll do it tomorrow, I'm too fatigued today," but one excuse begets another, then 10 more, and before you realize it, years have evaporated into regret. Excuses have claimed more unfulfilled dreams than outright failure ever could. So, what's the practical solution to break this cycle? Integrate non-negotiable elements into your morning routine, small, sacred actions you commit to executing no matter the circumstances or how you feel. Perhaps it's 5 minutes of reflective journaling to clarify your thoughts. Maybe it's 10 push-ups to kickstart your physical energy. Or reading just one page from an inspiring book. The scale of the action is secondary, what matters supremely is that you perform it with unswerving consistency. This practice trains your brain to default to action over procrastination, rewiring your habits for success. Conceptualize life as a personal ledger or balance sheet. Each day, you make a deposit, either in the column of discipline, which elevates and empowers you, or in the column of debt through excuses, which burdens and drags you down. Which category are you contributing to with your morning choices? And here's a powerful secret unlocked by consistency: it breeds unassailable confidence. Every time you honor a promise you've made to yourself, you reinforce self-trust. And when you cultivate deep trust in yourself, no external force can easily shake your foundation. Tomorrow morning, when your mind begins whispering seductive excuses, counter them with immediate, resolute action. Even if it's small scale, even if it's imperfect in execution, choose the path of consistency. Repeat this affirmation with me now, and comment it below to lock it into your psyche. I choose consistency over excuses. Every morning, I move forward with purpose. You've now journeyed through a series of profound truths that demanded years of my life to fully comprehend and embody. Existence waits for nobody, marching on relentlessly. If you neglect to care for yourself, the world will adapt and proceed without you. Regret serves as wasted energy unless transmuted into lessons that fuel your rise. If you fail to build your own dream, someone else will enlist you to construct theirs. Safeguard your vision through the power of silence. Meticulously filter the voices you allow to influence you. And above all else, embrace consistency as your guiding star. Every morning unfolds as a fresh chance to make a defining decision. Will you let it slip away in waste, or will you seize it with both hands? Will you drift along buoyed by excuses, or will you rise empowered by discipline? The Stoics imparted that time represents the one resource we can never reclaim or replenish. Once this day concludes, it's etched into eternity, irretrievable. That's why mornings carry such weighty importance. That's why cultivating urgency is paramount. I cannot make these choices on your behalf. I cannot tread your unique path for you. But I can serve as a reminder: you are far from powerless in this equation. You are not irrevocably stuck in your current circumstances. Every sunrise gifts you a genuine second chance to pivot. You don't have to lug the baggage of regret indefinitely. You aren't obligated to heed misguided voices. And you certainly don't need to devote your life to building someone else's dream at the expense of your own. You possess the agency to choose differently, starting right this moment. So, when you awaken tomorrow, don't linger waiting for fleeting motivation to strike. Don't seek external permission to begin. Don't hold out for life to miraculously slow its pace. Simply rise with intention, move with purpose, act with conviction. And as you propel yourself forward, hold this affirmation close to your heart like a talisman. I rise stronger every morning, and I will not waste the precious time that life has bestowed upon me. Write it in the comments. Speak it aloud with passion. And live it out daily, because existence waits for nobody, and neither should you.